Hey, Total Gym team, it is Master Trainer JD back here with you. This is part one of a series on positioning, body positioning. So what does that mean? When I train other trainers, I tell them for time management and for your client or you to get the most out of your workout. Once you get into a position, hey, what can I do from here? There are 8 different ways you can position your body on the Total Gym. So we're going to go through all 8. And there's actually 3 additional options on top of that 8. So before I start, remember the rule of 10. For time purposes, I'm going to keep it at the same level, but just remember I always harp on the rule of 10, which means whatever exercise you're doing, you set the level of the Total Gym. So right around 8, 9, or 10, you start making those funny faces and you feel fatigue. You go to failure with the muscles. So let's go on to the first exercise in the seated forward position. Okay, so straight head chest press for the mid chest. Now, always remember, cool thing with the Total Gym, with just about any exercise you do, you can do unilateral. Okay, so that's an option. Another one that is really cool, that is totally unique to the Total Gym, is called static equilibrium. So the glide board doesn't move. It's almost like an isometric contraction. But man, does that burn you out. Whatever muscle you're working, you're gonna feel that right away. Now, what can I do from here? So straight ahead chest press, or now I can go into a decline chest press. So I start up by my armpits and I go down towards the knees. Remember the options, unilateral or static equilibrium. I can just flip my handles and go into an incline press for the upper chest. Okay, so we can go right from there. I always tell my trainers to be creative. I did a training at a boxing club and I look over and one of the trainers was going uppercut, hook, uppercut, hook. And I was thinking, how cool is that? So that's the first exercise in seated forward position. Okay, let me show you a couple more in the seated forward position. I love to do shoulder press on the Total Gym. So you have to position your body. So when I'm doing this, I'm doing an incline chest press. So I'm gonna lean forward and then right over the top of my noggin. So I'm doing a chest press. I'm sorry, a shoulder press, military shoulder press. Okay, now another great exercise for the shoulders in the seated forward position is I can do frontal raise. Once again, remember all those options, static equilibrium, unilateral. Another really, really cool exercise is for your biceps in this position. So one of my favorite sayings is to keep your muscles progressing, you gotta keep them guessing. So one of the ways you can keep them guessing is always hitting that muscle at a different angle. So check out this angle. Again, I'm gonna lean way forward, my arms are way back. My goal is to keep my elbows back at the whole time and bicep curl. Remember your breathing, inhale, exhale as the glide board goes up towards the thigh, and every time you exhale, you pull that belly button to spine. Okay, overhead tricep extension. So I love this one, and I'll tell you why. So you probably know what that exercise is. Inhale and exhale. But because of the angle, the force of angle, you have to fully be engaged in your core, or man, you're gonna tip over with the resistance being way up here and coming back and forth. So like many of the exercises seated forward, it forces you to use your core. So you're talking 2 for 1 special. Okay, last 2. Forgot about the good old chest fly. So your arms stay in that constant position. You're getting a beautiful stretch, so you're working on mobility, range of motion. And just remember, I can go decline fly, I can go mid fly for the mid chest, I can go in fly. And remember, you're not restricted to range of motion on the Total Gym. So you can go in different planes of motion and have some fun. Now, 2 ab tips here. So one, let's say I'm just doing a chest press. What I can do is as I come back is lean back until my abs contract and then come up and do a chest press. We call that a compound exercise. So 2 for 1 special. But my favorite ab is give yourself a big old hug, put your heels up on the glide board, lean back until you feel the abs engage, and then Close your eyes and just little squeezes of the abs. So keep it a small range of motion so you keep constant tension on those abs so you don't have to do too many until you hit fatigue. So that's all I know for seated forward exercises. You might come up with some more. Stay tuned for position number 2, which will be seated backwards. So we're going to be seated facing the tower. I hope you enjoy that. I hope that brings some time management to your workout. And stay tuned. In a couple of weeks, we're going to do that seated backwards series. And until then, stay healthy.